welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. For those of you who are new here, welcome and thank you so much for watching. In today's video, we're gonna be going over all things laser hair removal. I am very excited to just chat about this topic. I've been an avid laser hair removal person for years. I definitely have a really good experience of what that looks like. So again, just so excited to share that with you. We are gonna be going over it all. We're gonna talk about pre-appointment and what that prep looks like. We'll talk about the actual experience of laser hair removal and just kind of painting that picture. We'll talk about post-appointment care and what usually they'll tell you to do, what not to do type thing. We're gonna talk about pain. Just being honest. We're gonna talk about how often you should go and of course, results. Again, very excited to just kind of let you know what my experience has been and hopefully it's helpful. If you have not already, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you can join my YouTube family. I'd so love to have you a part of it. So, I mean, what are you waiting for? Be sure to join, subscribe, and welcome if you do. And if you're ready to chat about all things laser hair removal, be sure to grab your cup of coffee or tea or whatever your drink of choice is and keep on watching. Let's go. Okay, so before we dive into kind of all the steps of laser hair removal, I thought it'd be really helpful for me to just really briefly talk about why I even chose to look into laser hair removal in the first place. And that's just in case you are reluctant or just, you know, you're curious as to why someone would even decide to try it out. And maybe that's why you're watching this video. You're curious. And so for me, like I said, I've been doing laser hair removal for years now. And for full transparency, I have done my underarms, my peach fuzz, my Brazilian area, my full legs, and my half arms. So a good portion of my body. And look, I'm at the place now where I don't care if you are one of my close girlfriends, a loved one, shoot, an acquaintance at this point, but if they ask, I will say you need to do laser hair removal immediately, ASAP. But prior to doing laser hair removal, I was a very avid waxer. And again, full transparency, when I was waxing, I was just doing my underarms, peach fuzz, and my Brazilian. I don't know, when I was waxing, I thought of laser hair removal in the past, but I was like, I just kind of made up the idea that like maybe it was gonna be too expensive, or I had thought in my head like it's gonna hurt so much more somehow. I like envisioned Cyclops from X-Men just like lasering you or something like that, which is frightening. But yeah, I just was being dramatic in that way and just like, no, it's gotta be expensive or it's gonna hurt more. Finally, one day I just got really over waxing. I, at the time, really struggled with ingrown hairs, and I'd learned that laser hair removal really helps get rid of ingrown hairs over time as you do it. So that was really intriguing to me to like, oh, okay, well that's good to know. So I decided to check out a place that I lived really close to called SEV LASER. And also just a note, my experience with laser hair removal has only been at SEV LASER. So I just say that because I can't speak to how it is at other places. But even if there's not a SEV LASER close to you, hopefully this video can just really equip you with the right knowledge of what to expect when you have a laser hair removal appointment. And, you know, obviously when you're looking for places to go to, always make sure that they have legitimate reviews, that they're taking the, you know, the best safety precautions to make sure you're safe and that you get the best results. And just don't be afraid to ask questions. At the end of the day, it's your body, you wanna make sure you're good. So just putting that out there, that my experience has been at SEV LASER. And this is in no way at all sponsored. I just wanna be real with you. That's where I go. Back to the story of when I was an avid waxer. Basically, I did my research looking at the pros and cons and just comparing both. And just looking at Brazilian waxing for an example, the process of actually doing the wax probably takes about like 15-20 minutes depending where you go. It hurts a lot. Even over time, maybe it gets a little easier as your hair gets a little lighter, but at the end of the day, it's painful. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It hurts. And it costs, at least where I was going, I would go to two very well-known waxing places in LA, and I think all over the country really, and it would cost about $55 at the time. And then when I was looking at laser hair removal just in that area, it was $50, it was $5 less. Most of the research was telling me that a Brazilian hair removal session took about five minutes or less, which I was like, and when you're doing laser hair removal, not only, again, is it addressing my issue of ingrown hairs, but over time, your hair is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Like you're working towards the hair essentially going away. For me, just kind of comparing the pros and cons and the differences between waxing and laser hair removal, it would have been silly for me not to give it a try. So before your appointment even happens, they actually have you fill out paperwork, almost similar to like if you were to go to a dentist or something like that, to just understand your medical history. They have you fill out paperwork so you understand what laser hair removal is and the process and the do's and the don'ts and their terms and conditions and all of that. So you fill out all this paperwork, turn that in, and then they actually have you meet with a medical professional that is through them to kind of walk you through everything. They'll ask you some more questions from a medical standpoint, and then they're there for you if you have any further questions, just to kind of have someone to talk to. And I just really appreciated that. I was very impressed by that, because they, you know, they fully understood that this isn't like just getting a haircut. This is a laser, and they just want to make sure that, you know, all your questions are answered and that you understand everything as well. So thought that was cool. Another thing that I really loved, and to be fair, I don't know if this is the same in every state, but here in California, I live in SoCal, all of the people that actually are doing the sessions to you are registered nurses, they're RNs, and I absolutely love that. I just took great comfort knowing that the people that are actually doing these sessions with the laser are medical professionals. So again, I know it probably just depends on the state you live in, but at least here in California, that is how it is. So I thought that was really cool. Also, all sessions at SEV are actually made by appointment. And something to note, just in case it's a concern to you, is they've done a fantastic job throughout this, you know, throughout COVID, just ensuring that all their customers are safe and healthy. Like I said, everything is made by appointment, so it really limits how many people are there at one time. And they're just really good about keeping it really clean and safe and healthy. So just something to note if you're curious. So a day or so before your appointment, you are gonna wanna shave the areas that you're about to get lasered. And then the day before your appointment, you will be getting a text reminder from SEV Laser, basically saying, hey, please, you know, confirm your appointment or cancel. And if you confirm, you just wanna make sure that you see that through, because if you cancel day of, I believe there is a cancellation fee. So just an FYI there. But after, you know, you've shaved, you've confirmed your appointment, you're basically good to go. Okay, so it is laser hair removal session time. So once you're there and you're about to start, they will, just depending on like the areas you're gonna get done. Let's say you're gonna do your face, they're gonna ask you if you have any makeup on, or if you're gonna do your underarms, they'll ask you if you have deodorant on. And if you do, they'll give you a wipe to basically take it off. Because when you do laser hair removal, it really just needs to be the skin. You don't want any sort of product on top of it, because it can just put your skin at risk for getting a little burn from the laser. So they have you remove all of that, and then they go over a little checklist with you each and every appointment, just again to ensure that you're safe and that it doesn't put your skin at risk. The checklist usually includes, they'll say like, hey, have you been, you know, actively suntanning or having strong sun exposure within the last 2 weeks? They'll ask you if you're, you know, pregnant, you're breastfeeding, if you've taken Accutane, retinol, if you're taking iron supplements, or if you've taken antibiotics within the last 2 weeks. Doing any of those things right before your appointment, again, can just put your skin at risk. So they go over that checklist with you just to make sure you're good to go. So basically, before you start, they hand you these groovy looking glasses. They're very sexy, but you put those on just to protect your eyes. And then depending on whatever area you are gonna get done, they'll do like a little test spot just to make sure that you can handle the discomfort level, to make sure that your skin's not having any sort of a reaction. And if it's good to go, they'll proceed with the rest of the area, and they'll let you know what to do, if they need you to like move around or whatever. And it honestly is so fast.
Feels fine, it just feels warm.
So we're gonna keep it there for today. If anything changes, you need a break, let me know.
Okay.
Just as a FYI, I actually had a few of my girlfriends ask me this. They were like, hey, do they use the same laser for everyone? And I wasn't sure, so I asked at my last appointment, and they basically have 2 different laser settings that really allows them to cater to every skin type. They have the Alex laser setting, which I think is short for something, but that laser setting is actually for those who have fair to lighter skin type, skin tones. And then they have another laser setting, which is YAG, and that is catered to those who have tan to deeper skin types. So between those two laser settings, they can cater to everyone, which is really, really cool. When you're actually getting lasered, there's like a part next to the laser that's blowing really cold air while you're getting lasered. And I asked what that's there for, and they said it's just to help alleviate any sort of discomfort. So I found sometimes it helps alleviate, sometimes it doesn't. I think it just depends on the day, on how your body is, and it's just different per person, but that just an FYI there. So at the very end of your appointment, once everything is done, they'll basically say, hey, we have aloe, we have sunscreen, put some on. So they'll have that there for you that you can apply on the various areas that you got done. And then they'll go over like another little checklist for you of what not to do. So they'll say like, hey, make sure that you're not having any sort of direct sun exposure, like don't be tanning the next day. Make sure you're wearing sunscreen. I know over the next like 24 hours, they ask you to not exercise, no hot baths, no hot showers, no shaving for like the next week, and no exfoliating. So they'll go over this little checklist for you, but just as an FYI of what not to do, just to make sure that your skin is staying safe. As a side note, you are, at the end of the day, a laser is touching your skin, so it's a very, very light sunburn that you can't even feel. But that's why they have you do all those things, that little checklist at the end, to make sure that you're protecting your skin. So with that said, I personally just would encourage you to try not to do laser hair removal on certain areas of your body that are exposed to the sun, specifically during the summer. So if you're gonna be doing either your arms or your legs, try to avoid it during the summer. Again, it depends where you live. Some places the sun is out all year round, but I think just during the summer, it's like another level, obviously. So just kind of a note there to try to protect your skin when it comes to laser hair removal. So in my experience, when I'm starting a brand new area, I usually have to come back every 4 weeks for the first 4 to 5 sessions. And that way I'm hitting every hair growth cycle. And then after that, just depending on the area you're getting done, depending on just your body really, then maybe I'm able to push it to every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks. And that's the beauty about laser hair removal is, you know, as time goes on, you're having to come in less and less time because that hair essentially is getting thinner, it's growing in slower, and eventually it's not growing back at all. So that's what I would say it is. And you know, like there's some areas of my body now, I only have to go in maybe once, twice a year. So that's, like I said, the beauty about laser hair removal. But when you're first starting out, it's usually every 4 weeks for at least, I would say, the first 3 to 5 sessions, just depending on you and your hair cycle. And then as far as how many sessions you need to do for any given area, at the end of the day, it's different per person. But I would say on average, and I looked on the SEV LASER website, they said the same thing. It usually takes about 6 to 12 sessions depending on the area and depending on the person for the hair to practically be gone. So again, just kind of depends on you, the area, and all that jazz. Plus, another really cool thing is that you can shave between sessions, and I mean, you can't for waxing, so that's a really, really cool thing. And yes, they'll ask you not to shave maybe, I wanna say like within the first week after your appointment, but after that, if you're starting to see growth, you can shave it and it's not a big deal. And for me, an example would be like my underarms. I don't have hair in my underarms anymore. I haven't for years, and I probably go in maybe twice a year, I would say. And it's just to get like the one straggler. It's like I don't have that there, but it took time to get there. And I would say maybe like a good 10 sessions of consistently going to get the results that I have today. You know, my legs, I've been doing my legs for a couple of years, but I probably go in maybe 3 times a year, just again, more for touch-ups. And so I think as you consistently go, you'll see that what started at 4 weeks now become 3 times a year. And it's like that, again, I keep saying that is the beauty of laser hair removal. It's just, you're working towards that, and it's the best. It's truly the best. So does the hair ever go away forever? So this might be a little bit of an annoying answer, but the truth is it really does differ per person, because you have to remember most hair growth is prompted by hormones. And obviously it's so subjective to each individual. But what I will say, for me, I've had really amazing results. There are certain places where there's no hair. Like since it's been gone, nothing has grown back. However, who's to say eventually if something hormonally happens in my body that I won't get a straggler or two. I give the example of like my underarms where there is no hair there. And if I do have to get a touch up, it's because I have 1 or 2 stragglers once or twice a year. And when I say stragglers, I mean they are super, super, super thin, super, super, super fine. Super, 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 super. I also don't deal with ingrown hairs anymore, and it's just, nothing is how it was. So although technically, like using my underarms as an example, technically the hair isn't gone forever, but 1 or 2 stragglers where you have to touch up twice a year is pretty much there for me, at least. I think it just really depends on each individual, but it's just an incredible investment because it will never be the way it was. As long as you are consistent and diligent in going to your appointments, your results, I think, will just be spectacular. Speaking of hormones prompting hair growth, I've had some of my girlfriends say, well, what if you get pregnant? That's incredibly hormonally stimulating. And I've had a couple of girlfriends who were like me, did laser hair removal, and then they had a baby. I asked them and I said, hey, like, do you mind letting me know your experience? And I've also asked some of the RNs that have done my laser hair removal, just like in general, what they've seen. And what I've heard in general is that yes, pregnancy can prompt hair to regrow. However, it will, again, never be the way it was. How funny, the SEV LASER website describes it exactly how I would as well. I kind of would describe it to people as getting lasered as like when you're first doing this, not now. Like I don't have this feeling at all anymore, but when I was first doing it, the way I described it is like if there was like a little rubber band that they were letting go at you, if that makes sense. And just like depending on the area that you're getting done, it can hurt more or hurt less. And that's like I said, that's the best way I could describe it. So how much does it hurt? So again, I think this is just one of those things that really it differs per person and your pain tolerance. For some people that hurts really, really bad. And for other people, it's like, for other people, it's uncomfortable, but it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing in the world. And the thing about laser is it's so fast. Like, again, if you've gotten a Brazilian wax, in my humble opinion, this is nothing. So that's how I would describe it. It's like a rubber band being let go at you when you're first getting done, but now it doesn't hurt at all. All I feel is the cold air. Like that's it. What I will say personally for me, the places that were the most sensitive, that took the most time for me to not have discomfort or pain, was for sure my Brazilian area. And I think that's just because that area is sensitive to begin with. It just is. And then I was surprised by this, but my legs, and more specifically the part of my legs closest to the bone, so like my ankle, my shin area, that hurt so bad. Anytime you get something closer to a bone, it can just hurt more. So I think that's why that's the case, but the lower part of my legs and my Brazilian hurt the most. But it's subjective per person, I would definitely say. Again, the beauty of laser hair removal, kind of like I said, is as you continue to do treatments, as your hair continues to get lighter, the pain really does go away. A couple of notes that I do just have to tell you is, one being for really anyone, is try not to drink coffee or tea or anything that has caffeine in it right before your appointment. Drinking caffeine right before your appointment is gonna make you more sensitive, and it's gonna just make the pain a little worse. So if you can, try to hold off drinking any sort of caffeine right before your appointment, or even a few hours before, just so nothing's in your body that could enhance that discomfort, because who wants that? My other tip is for my ladies out there. If you can, really try to avoid doing your laser hair session on your menstrual cycle, or even a few days before. Try to avoid it if you can, because again, it's just one of those things. I don't know if it's hormonal or what, but your skin, your body, it just becomes more sensitive. So the pain tolerance, the discomfort will just be a little bit more noticeable. And trust me, I've done it. I remember I got my legs done on my menstrual cycle, and I drank coffee that morning, and that was an experience. So I would just encourage you to not do that. So yeah, that is my laser hair removal experience. And honestly, I feel like the first time I started to actually see results after doing some laser hair removal, I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? If you are considering laser hair removal, I would strongly recommend it. I've had nothing but great results and a great experience. But again, my experience solely has been at SEV Laser, just full transparency. And so if there's one near you, I again would genuinely recommend it. But if there isn't a SEV Laser near you, I just hope that this video really equips you with the right knowledge of what a healthy laser hair removal experience looks like. Also, if you've done laser hair removal, please comment below your experience, or if there's other places that you would recommend outside of SEV, please, like legitimate places, please leave those in the comment section below. That way we can kind of make this like a little community where we can help each other out and answer questions if you have any. Alrighty, and that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found it helpful. If so, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to join, subscribe my YouTube family. I'd so love to have you a part of it, and welcome if you do. As always, I just encourage you to spread the love. That is the tagline of this YouTube channel, and just be the loving change you want to see in the world. And thank you guys so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, I will see you then. Bye.